guess without further ado, like, what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so let's jump into gameplay here. So we're going to show, this is live, we're doing it live today.
Yeah.
So let's see how this goes.
Bear with us.
If I'm bad at blocking, it's my fault.
This is true. So I'll run everybody kind of through everything we've done here with Sohei. And, well, let's just jump straight into it. So, we'll start with the basics. Every hero has this. We have our light attacks. You can throw those, of course, in every single direction. You'll notice I'm not getting blocked here. I'm not getting kind of cancelled out. Every light attack for this hero, every light opener attack for this hero, I should say, is enhanced. So you you'll see later why this is very important.
Yeah.
So those are our lights. We have, of course, heavies as well. In every single direction. Pretty standard stuff. Everything you can kind of expect us to do.
And those heavies are pretty slow, but so I know some people are going to be worried about that.
Right.
But don't worry, we've thought of everything. It's going to be all good.
Don't be worried. We're just getting started.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Just getting started. There's so much more to show here. Now you might be running around the world. Might need to engage. So we have a light dodge attack, get you into combat right away. There we go, light attack. We also have a heavy dodge attack. A sprint attack, sorry. Running around, get into combat, jump into the air with that Yari, smack opponent in the face. Dodge attacks. There we go.
have light and heavy there, right?
Light and heavy sprint attacks.
I wonder why.
This will all be explained shortly. We have a zone attack. It's usual. Big swipe, big trajectory there. Nice. Scary thing. It's very usual. And we have a forward dodge bash as an opener. Now that's going to lead into stuff. We're going to get into that in a second. Just know that's a very important move for this hero.
Nice.
Now let's go into the chains. Let's get into the good stuff.
We have dodge attacks as well, right? So we have side dodge and front
dodge. We have
dodge.
the side dodge. Yes, we can do those. Yeah, here we go. Left light attack. Right light attack. Openers. We have right heavy attack. And left heavy attack.
So there's a theme here, right? That every single, you can do front dodge as well, but
you can do front too.
There's a theme where every time you can do an attack, you always have a light and heavy version. Usually we don't really do this. So again, it's a sign of things to come.
All right.
It is a sign of things to come. This is a weapon master after all.
Exactly, right?
You should be able to do all these moves, right? There's a big groundwork being laid here. I can tell.
Exactly. So let's get into the good stuff.
Right.
We'll swap back to our lights. They start enhanced, like I said. You can follow these up with another light attack. In any direction. All the time. Now the top one you would have seen there. It's a bit of an extra property there. This is an undodgeable follow-up on the light attack.
Yep.
And the left attack, kind of same thing.
Light chain. Cool here too is that, I don't know, players have probably noticed by this time, that second hit, that second light, always use one of the weapons that's on Sohei's back.
Correct.
So depending on which stance you use, if you're top, you can do it again, right? We're using that Tetsubo. If you're going on this side,
let's
wherever it is.
There we go. Let's do that again.
So we're using different weapons. So that was the Kama, and then if we try it on this side, it's a bit of the Katana there. So it's every single time that you use a light in your chains, probably your heavies as well, right?
Your heavies as well.
They absolutely all use the special, the extra weapons that Sohei is carrying, which is pretty interesting.
Exactly.
Amazing.
So
we have the same from heavies,
we'll
right?
go through the same rotation again. Heavy top into another heavy. Now, heavy follow-ups, you would have noticed that that's an unblockable attack there. So JC's doing a good job dodging there. We'll do the same on the sides. Do the right side heavy attack with a heavy follow-up. You can see, different weapons being used every single time, and same on the left. Right.
So for everybody that was like, you're not going to be able to use all your 7 weapons or whatever, you use every single one of them during your kit. Not related to
we literally just counted to 7, right? There weapons.
We counted
That's
to 7.
pretty good, right?
As was established, a little less than 1,000, but still 7 is we've never done that before.
We've never done 7.
Holy crap.
We really tried to put as many weapons as we could in here.
I mean, also his bash, he smacks people with his hand too, so there you go.
There you go.
There's even more.
Count as a weapon. Now, very important to note, for our this players asking, it's slow, what are the timings here? The heavy attacks are slow, but the light attacks did 400 MS follow-ups.
Yeah.
So they're pretty fast.
Yeah.
Right. So they kind of
Top is undodgeable, again, to make sure that if people are going to go, hey, I can't, I want to be able. I want to make sure that I can. I'm not just gonna mash dodge and beat all the lights. Well, actually, top is undodgeable, so you can't just mash light and always get away with it.
Nice.
That's right. Now, properties on the heavies as well, very quickly. Every heavy attack follow-up has a different property. So top heavy follow-up does kind of extra damage, more than the other heavy follow-ups would do. The left side bleeds the target.
Ooh,
get a little bit of damage over time there. And the right side pins the target. So you can see the weapon master has tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah, you want to use different attacks in different situations. It's pretty cool there.
Nice.
Right. So might have noticed, we're always pressing the same button twice to get into those second weapons. Now, there is another move that can kind of use these weapons, and it's our zone attack. Now, our zone attack, as our players know, is a combination of a light attack and a heavy attack, which means you can follow that attack up with a light and heavy attack as well. So let's start from the right here. I'll follow up with a light attack. We'll do the same zone attack into a top light attack. Let's see if we can change stance fast enough. There we go. Good stuff. And we'll do the same on the right, on the other side.
See my extra
see those reaction speeds.
There we go. We'll see if we can do it on the other side. There we go. Those were the light attacks, and you can do the same with the heavy attacks as well. Now, why is all of this stuff important? Why is it important that you can access all these weapons? Now, you would have noticed JC very skillfully, completely unscripted, blocked everything, dodged everything I threw at him.
It was not planned at all.
So I'm going to ask him to
felt a little practice, maybe just a little.
I'm going to ask him to not do it now and just get hit.
There's one thing, before we go into that, right? One thing we need to mention really is that you have a zone attack in chains as well, right?
This is true. You can use a zone attack as an extender. So if I do my light here, I can follow up with a zone attack. It's very smooth. It's very smooth. I can continue my chain the entire time. And the same goes for the right. It's for the heavy attacks here. Up into a zone, extender, and you would have seen there's a little property on there.
Yeah, it's armored, so that's really, really useful as well to trade and stuff. So
there you go.
I agree. That was very smooth. In fact, that's some top tier animation work.
Amazing animation. We'll get into the animation team a little bit, but
give them all the time and all the credits shortly.
Yeah. So what's special about these weapons? Because I kept blocking them. I guess there's probably a reason why, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying
not
to get hit too much.
So let's get hit. So we'll start with the lights. Oof! Didn't dodge that one, right? So what? There's a glow now.
What is this? What is this? Like the little white thing on top?
Something happened. This is happening in every single direction. As I'm using the weapons on my back, I'm kind of getting into what we call the soul stance. We talked about the souls, the soul collector. The souls of our enemies are in these weapons. Every time we hit, there's the pin on the right heavy follow-up. Same at the top. I keep collecting souls.
It's got a lot of souls going on there.
There's a lot of souls.
Right? Pretty good.
Now, the concept of this soul collector, the Sohei here, is we wanted to add a mini game to his design, right? We wanted to have players think a little bit ahead of what they're going to throw at their opponent and have a bit of this mini game of collecting the souls, getting all these souls up, so that by the time you get all of the souls up, there's something cool that happens.
They're kind of red now.
Yeah.
They're red now.
I remember seeing that red in the trailer, and I'm like, I wonder, some weird things happening. I don't know. They're going into the
souls are very angry.
I don't know what's happening.
Yes.
But he looks like powered up or something.
He is powered up, and there's lots of speculation on what that meant.
Yeah,
right?
So, I'm not sure. What please show us, because I have no idea.
Let's just let the game speak for itself.
Of course, right?
Ooh.
Okay. So, I'm old, so I can't really see the combat log there, but I believe this says 95 damage, right?
That's right.
My goodness.
So
that's
essentially
a lot.
That move, that move you can only do it when you have all souls active, right?
Correct.
And only off of the front dodge bash, and it's off of a zone attack input.
That's right. So if you front dodge bash without the souls zone attack, you just throw your zone attack. But
like another attack or whatever, but yeah.
Exactly right. But if you have your 6 souls, you unlock the special move, the 7-4 strike, using that Yari, using all the power of your souls to kind of embed your opponent there, dealing massive damage.
Extremely high damage.
This is a scary moment. We've seen it on the floor when
it is.
Sohei has all those souls up. It's scary. And he counts as well, right?
Yeah, right. Every time you gain 1 soul, he counts. It doesn't really matter which weapon is getting the soul first, but he's going to count from 1 to 6, like we've heard in the trailer.
We have, yeah.
Actually 1 to 5, and then he screams something else that we've probably heard there. But the idea here is really you want to be able to hit with all of your weapons to activate that special mode. All those souls are per weapon, so you have to land a hit with that weapon to gain a soul on that weapon. I can't just like keep mashing top lights or top heavies and getting on the other weapons. It's you have to hit once per weapon to get all that sort of stuff going.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
But at the same time, like, you know, if that was the only way to really gain souls, it would be really, really, really hard, right? Like there's a lot of attacks here that, you know, people are going to parry, they're going to block, they're going to dodge. So is there any other ways to gain them?
There are. It's a weapon master. Of course, there are other ways. There's always more. So I've showed our dodge attacks. You know, or kind of forward light attack in this case. These can follow up with. Oh, let me just do that correctly here. With a light attack, but not only that, it can follow up from a light attack from any stance. The same goes for our heavy dodge attacks. You know,
Nice.
dodge to the right, follow up with the top. Dodge to the left, follow up with the right.
So I see a theme forming here where basically every option that Sohei has that is, you know, not like from neutral heavies or whatever, there's a reason why there's light and heavy sprint. There's a reason why there's light and heavy front dodge and side dodge. It's to get into those things, right? Because the chain flow of this hero is kind of unique where it's always using the same button twice. So because of this, you need to have a side dodge light into light or a side dodge heavy into heavy, right? We want to be able to reach into these things and again, give players a lot more reason as to why am I using my light or my heavy version. They have different properties as well, right? So the side dodge heavy has a big swipe where the side dodge light, for example, has a little poke. So sometimes you want to use the swipe, sometimes you want to use the poke. It doesn't really matter, but it also kind of depends on at what point you're at in your game plan, which weapons do you want to activate their souls from.
Gotcha.
That's right. Now we have a couple more. I'll run very quickly through these, so you know we want players to see the whole kit, right?
Yeah, right.
Of course. So we've already showed the forward dodge bash, I believe. So this can follow up as well. You know, we said that early on. This can follow up with lights or heavies again from any stance.
Yeah, again from any stance. This is kind of unique. We don't have that. It's very rare that we have this. Actually, they're dedicated follow-ups, but. So they deal like, you know, we were able to tweak the damage accordingly, everything's good, but they are stance-based. So if I do like, I can do a heavy from this side or I can do a heavy from that side, right? So these have pretty good trajectories. Again, so if you want to be in a group fight, if you want to cover your sides, you can. You can still go top if you want. But it's all like kind of like really around the hero's game plan of what attack do I want to use in what situations, but also think about which soul do I want to activate to get to my 7-4 strike.
That's right. That's right. Now, there's a couple of cool things that we've kind of added to this kit just to, you know, we realize that sometimes maybe you want another option. So we talked about the zone extender. Kind of throw that into your kind of combo. So I'll follow up here on the right and kind of zone. Let me just do a proper zone extender here. Up, up. Now, you know, that might be easy to parry, right? You know, you might think that, you know, every opponent's going to parry that. Easy. So we added the option to soft feint this attack into a guard break.
Yeah.
And let's look at, we've gushed about how good these, let me just hit you, how good these animations are. Oh, let me also just do it properly. So smooth.
Oh, it is like, honestly, that, again, we'll have the animation team come later, but this is like one of the smoothest soft feints I've seen in the game. I'll do it from my point of view if people players want to see like a little bit more. Wow. Just from neutral, you can soft feint to guard break. It feels like amazing. And then if I go into a light, for example, again, like it feels extremely seamless. It's gorgeous. But then, so I guess there's a reason why you're showing us guard break, right?
Right. Yes, there is a reason I'm showing guard break because there's an extra kind of follow up from a regular guard break. So if you do successfully guard break an enemy, you can follow up with 3 hits.
Nice.
Getting all glows for that follow-up type. So 3 lights or 3 heavies. So if you are having trouble getting that last weapon out, just catch the opponent off with that guard break, follow up with whatever you're missing, bam, you're ready to go.
Yeah, right. So basically, if you manage to land 2 guard breaks and nobody's interrupting you or whatever, you can get 3 souls every time. Like you get all 3 light souls or all 3 heavy souls. It's light, 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 or heavy, heavy, heavy. You can't switch them midway, so we want players to commit a little bit more there. It makes it a little bit harder to get all the souls active. But it's pretty interesting, right? Because you can do that. And then you can off a guard break. You also have a zone attack if what you want to do is regular damage, right? Because the important thing here is normally off of a guard break, you want to be able to execute somebody. You want to be able to do 24 damage with a heavy. Yeah. Those light, light, lights and heavy, heavy, heavies deal a lot less damage. But we want players to still have the option to be able to, I'm going to throw something that will deal, again, the regular damage, can potentially execute as well, which is kind of different there as well. Yep. We have sometimes zones that execute. They're really rare. But in this case, it also applies to the neutral zone here. That one can also execute, and the chain one as well. So it kind of fits in with that trick here. And also, something that's not super obvious, after light, 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 I can go straight into my chain zone as well. So you can keep extending your flow after those like 3 little pokes that you have, or after heavies as well. So you guard break somebody, get 3 souls, and then go into a zone, keep your offense going. Yeah, so it feels really, really good there.
Absolutely. And there's one final thing we want to show just before we jump into a little bit of setup here is I'm going to throw a heavy top at you here. Just to show,
let me just like get rid of all of my souls there.
Yeah. Just an opportunity to 7-4 strike me there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Cool. So throw me a top heavy.
Throw a top heavy at you. Parry that one. Hup. Immediately follow up with a light or a heavy.
Or a heavy. Yeah.
In any stance. You know?
Exactly. So whenever you parry, you kind of shortcut to your soul stance, which lets you use any of your soul weapons, right? So any of the 6 weapons that are there. Just as an FYI, so players are aware, we know we had an early access period. You're probably going to see a bunch of videos from influencers coming out soon. We know there's a slight issue here where if you perform a heavy parry and you throw a heavy follow-up, you can parry the follow-up, but it's a 1-frame thing. We're working on a patch right now to solve this, to have a bit of a longer window. So we're aware of the issue. It's going to get fixed shortly, but not like as of tomorrow when it launches. So just so players are aware, we know about this. You don't need to go into the bug reporter putting a bug if you want to. We know it's good. It's going to get fixed, but just so people are aware.
Gotcha.
But you can throw, like, so if I parry a light, so you can do a dodge attack at me, for example, right?
A light dodge attack, is it?
Side dodge. You can do a heavy.
Side dodge, light, yeah. Okay.
Right, so it works. I can throw a side heavy. I'm going to get, I can get all my stuff. So it's really interesting. You get all of your souls through this. So the hero's entire kit is really built around how do I get my souls? How does that go, right? So now, Mike is going to go and set us up for us to show feats. And while he does this, I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the philosophy we had behind designing this hero, right? So
because this has been deep so far. It's
super
very
deep. And so one of the things that so one of the things that we want to do is it's really unique. We want to build on this uniqueness. And it was the first time that we're trying to attempt to have an actual resource system. Right. We've never really had a resource system in For Honor before where you kind of have to build up a certain gauge or a resource. It's something I've seen mentioned like a lot of times by players like, we should have that on like Yorm, for example, like with runes or whatever. So we've been thinking about it for a long time. And we finally were able to build this with this hero. And with the concept of the 6 weapons, it came naturally to us to go, well, okay, cool. So we want to build a hero that like has all these weapons. So I want to be able to hit with all of these weapons. And then when I hit with them, I gain something. We tried a bunch of different things. We tried something where like you would, if you're familiar with like more traditional fighting games, there's a concept called an install. If you want to give this to Manu, because he can talk about, I don't know if something happened. So there's a concept of an install, right? Well, when you activate something, you go into this really crazy powered up mode. We looked at this and it was like a bit too unpredictable, a bit too hard to control. So we really went towards, I'm getting all my resources, and once I have all of my resources, I gain access to a new move that deals a ton of damage, right? That's super cool. Another thing that's super interesting in what we've done is, like you might have noticed from what we've had before in the, when Alex was talking earlier, that we can't quite customize the weapons. And that is very much on purpose. You'll be able to see, like, you know, like again, when we get back into the game. But as you look at the hero, you'll notice that like each of the handles has a different color. All the light attacks that you can use as Sohei have a white handle, and all the heavy attacks you can use to pick those weapons has a brownish handle, right? And they're set in a very, very specific area around you. So when she was talking about how it influences gameplay, a lot of what that means is we wanted to make sure that when you're looking at a Sohei, right, because that move is so dangerous, when you're playing against them, you want to go, okay, I want to make sure they don't get access to that move, because once they do, once they unlock it, I'm probably going to be in trouble. So if you look at a Sohei from a player perspective, you look at him like as your opponent. From left to right, it means that the first weapon is a left light, then it's left heavy, then it's top light, top heavy, and then on the side it's right light, then right heavy. So just by looking at him and looking at those souls, the ones that are activated, you can tell which weapons he has used, which ones are activated, but also which ones he wants to use.
Right.
And so because it is like the Sohei really, really wants to have all 6 of those souls activated, so it kind of gives you a bit of a mind game of going, okay, he's missing only one. He's only missing his left light. Clearly, he's going to want to use his left light. So I'm going to make sure that because they're 400 MS, they're hard to block, I'm going to try to really deal with the left light and make sure that I'm always going to block in that stance. That also unlocks mix-ups and mind games from the Sohei's perspective, that my opponent is expecting this, I can do something else instead. Right. So we wanted to like give that freedom and that type of mind game and thought behind, I need to use all of my attacks, I need to use all of my hits to unlock that big crazy hit. It's not necessarily easy. We had to give shortcuts with the guard break and all sorts of stuff to be able to get into it a little bit easier so that it makes more sense. So it's really a different hero there. The other thing that we did that we wanted to make it super unique was the flow, right? As I mentioned earlier, there's like, it's only light or heavy. And also in a fun twist, if you press zone, you press both buttons, so you get access to both light or heavy afterwards. So you really want to use your zone attacks with this hero because it'll chain to either your light or your heavy, so it gives you a bit more freedom as to where you're going to be going, which weapons you're going to use, makes you a little bit more unpredictable, but at the same time, there's slower attacks, they're a bit more complicated, so it's kind of different there. The last point is something to keep in mind when you're playing against Sohei. You have to respect his guard breaks. Much more than a lot of other heroes, because on a guard break, he gains 3 souls every single time. And so that is extremely scary, which means that slow zone, it's a super easy parry, right? Like you see it, okay, I'm going to parry it. There's a soft hit to guard break with that. So it's super easy for the Sohei to read that you're going to parry, soft hit to guard break, and guess what? He gets 3 souls every time. So it's a lot of these like trickier situations where we wanted to integrate that mindset of I have to be careful, I have to change my game plan, I have to adapt my game plan when I'm playing against this hero, depending on how many souls he has. If all 6 souls are activated, what's going to happen? How are you going to play against this, and how does it work? So it's super interesting. I find it gives us something really, really, really different for this hero and a different type of game plan when you play as him and when you play against him. So it's very, very unique.
I don't think it could be like understated like how unique this is, like how no other hero does what this hero does. Like, and I mean, just all the ways that you're talking about here. But it's almost like you'd have to be a weapons master of sorts to be able to pull off all these crazy moves. So I think the fantasy really fits really well here. So that's awesome.
All right, cool. So now we want to have a look at Feats.
We're set up.
Cool. We're set up for Feats.
We're set up for Feats.
Just a quick note: the Feats right now are set up on like super fast cooldown. We'll like Mike will like nicely explain, like tell the cooldowns and the values for each and every feat, so you don't have to go crazy. We're aware that like these are going to go really fast. It's normal. Don't worry about it. And we're going to go into it. So Mike, take it away.
Yeah, let's do this. So 4 feats, 4 unique feats for this hero, as we've been doing recently for all of our heroes. Let's start at the first one. The first feat, feat 1 here, is a targeted active. You target an enemy, throw that at the enemy, and that is a defense debuff. Now, that defense debuff is 25% armor debuff. It lasts for 20 seconds with a minute cooldown, so it's quite short.
Yeah, you can do it quite often. But one of the things that is interesting here is that, like, I'm going to, we're not really going to see the damage values here, but Sohei's baseline damage is lower than other heroes, except for that crazy strike there. But generally, he's going to deal less damage than other heroes to compensate for the fact that he gets access to that big move once he does get all of his souls there. So what's interesting here is that like that defense debuff puts him back to baseline. Right? Generally, his damage is going to be like 20 to 25% lower than other heroes without that feat active on your opponent. So you want to activate it to deal more damage to get a little bit higher into the fights. And we'll see how it kind of flows with the rest of the stuff. That's pretty interesting.
Correct. So I'm just gonna get some souls on you now, because the second feat here interacts with, of course, it has to interact with the souls. I'll guard break you there. Up, up, up. So I have my 6 souls. That second feat there is only available when you have the 6 souls. So you would have seen it's grayed out. You can see it on JC's side there that it is kind of grayed out. For me, it's active, and when you use it, this will consume all 6 souls and heal you to full.
Yeah, so I'm gonna deal enough damage to you so you go like really, really low.
I was gonna say, now when you say full, you mean?
I mean
full.
Full health. There we go, nice and.
Right, so you're really low.
Up. Let's get that up again. Hop, hop, hop. Do the same here again. Very scary. Appreciate you not dodging. Yeah. So consume. Boom.
Boom. Back to
full health. So that's a game changer.
That's a game changer.
It gives the Sohei lots of options, but it also it adds to him being so scary.
Yeah.
Right. Now I will just gather up my souls here again.
Yep.
Feat 3, as you guessed it, interacts with the soul system.
I'm noticing a theme here.
There's a theme here.
Pretty good. Yeah.
You see, you would have maybe even seen it, spotted it earlier. My hands are glowing. My feet is blinking in the HUD there. When this feat gets unlocked and you have your 6 glows,
your 6 souls, yeah.
Your 6 souls there, then you deal extra damage.
Nice.
So this can combine with that first feat, that defense debuff, to now put you above the power curve a little bit. So this is a 25% damage buff, and it is passive. There's no cooldown on this or anything.
Yeah,
it is just active as long as you have your 6 souls. If you lose them, it's gone.
Yeah, if you die, if you lose them, if you use them, it's gone, right? So what I really like about the way we approach this is, again, we wanted to play with that resource system as much as possible. So our second feat, giving you a full heal if you use all your souls, is kind of interesting because then you have to sacrifice the potential damage output of the third feat, but also you give up the ability to use that move once.
Yeah.
So it's a lot, again, it's focused around like thinking about what situation am I in? Do I want to use that feat? Do I want to use that move? The third feat is interesting because it puts you back at like normal power, or maybe a little bit above sometimes. But then if I use my 7-4 strike, I lose that buff, right? So it's, do I always want to use it? If I'm fighting against somebody that's at super low life, maybe it's not worth using it. If I'm against somebody that's like super high life, maybe it'll be worth using. If I'm close to dying and it's better that I don't die, then maybe I want to heal instead. So everything is kind of surrounds that concept of, I'm getting that resource, and then it's intelligently spending it. It's being thoughtful about when do I want to spend it, why do I want to spend it, what are the different situations. That's super interesting there. And then we can also show, like here, right, so you have extra damage. We're not going to show it because you're going to kill me basically one shot. But then apply feat 1 to me.
So feat 1, boom.
And then do that 7-4 strike.
Now, 7-4 strike. Huh. Kill.
First of all, amazing animation here, right?
Cool.
I died.
You killed.
That looks good. But at the same time, we can see the damage log. This dealt with feat 1 active on an opponent and feat 3 active on you. It deals 149 damage. So what this means is it basically one-shots the entire roster, with the exception of like if you have defense buffs on yourself or whatever. There's things that can kind of activate your shields or whatever, but somebody normal that doesn't have any buffs on themselves, that's at full health, this will one-shot them every single time. It's a lot of damage. You need to have a lot of stuff coming together. You need to have your feat 1 active on the person. You have to have your feat 3 active on yourself, so you have to have unlocked it as well. But once all the stars line up, all the souls line up, you get to one-shot somebody once in a while. It doesn't happen super often.
Oh, not often at all.
Yeah, because it's very, very, very dangerous. And it kind of forces players to go, oh no, there's a Sohei nearby.
Yeah.
Oh no, does he have all of his souls?
Oh, I can hear him counting.
But if you do, then it's, we better gang up on him.
Yeah.
Because if you die, you lose all of your souls.
Yeah.
So it kind of messes a bit with the meta. And when this hero is in a group fight, because he's a terrific, insane ganker. Because from outside, you can just go, I'm going to bash you, one-shot you. It's fine. So you want to be maybe potentially like focus on him a little bit more, get into that mode, get into that kind of refocusing and changing how you approach team fights in general. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more later, but it's a lot of why we're building this hero as well is to go around with this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And finally, feat 4.
There's a feat 4, the big feat. Once you've unlocked that, you'll notice I have no glows. I just, death blowed. The 7-4 strike, just one hit. JC here. What if I wanted yet another shortcut? Yes, he did revive. I can press this button, simple press of a button, scary mode. There we go.
Oh, he's powering up.
Powering up. I have all my souls available.
Yeah.
This is a long cooldown. This is it's a 3-minute cooldown, so use this wisely. You won't be using it every team fight. You do have to work for your souls. But once you do have it, again, this is kind of that element of surprise. Changed up the team fight and hopefully one hit somebody.
Yeah, big burst of damage available when that happens.
I think we need to see it one more time at least.
Yeah, I'm going to do it on my side. So
one more time on the stairs here. Maybe a bit of camera work.
So you're at full health right now. So let's show off what happens when you're at full health.
Yeah. So just for clarification, there, that was without the debuff.
Yeah, right. So now I have the debuff going, and it's good night.
Jeez. Oh, that's a lot of damage.
That is a lot of damage. It is extremely scary.
Yeah.
That weapon's like shaking a little bit.
It's terrified.
It's
terrified of what just happened.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the idea here, right? So we wanted to really build feats that complement how the hero plays, complement the systems, and really interact really deeply with the hero's feats, hero fight kit, and kind of fit really well with it. I'm super happy that we're able to, like, even I was looking at Reddit, I was looking at people, and there was so much speculation about like how things are going to work or whatever. I think we managed to pull off something that's like super different. It feels really unique as a hero, and I hope players are going to like it.
Yeah,
it's going to be awesome. So I can go a little bit more into like what we're thinking of in terms of like when we're designing this hero, right? Whenever the process that we typically do is we start with like a big document. That's like the intention that we have towards building this hero. And we generally start with like 3 keywords. And so with these keywords inform us as to how we're going to design the hero, how we're going to design the feats, how we're going to design the fight set, but also like for everything else, right? So whenever we're talking about like executions, animations, all that sort of stuff, how is the feel going to be? So for this hero, we had 3 keywords. We had versatile, right? We want them to have different properties, different ways of approaching fights. I want them to be methodical, right? We need to be able to go, I'm versatile, but I'm also methodical in how I want to use all of my weapons, right? Like the Soheis were trained to use all their weapons, to become master of all their weapons, as Andre beautifully put out earlier. So it's about like using all those weapons, making sure that you get there, so it's really methodical. But we also want him to be monstrous, right? He's a big demon at a base.
He's bigger than Shuga.
He's bigger than Shuga, right? It's our largest character in the game to date.
He's big.
So all these kind of keywords kind of built towards the feeling that we want to drive for this hero. It impacts animation, impacts everything. That's really cool. So that's really awesome. And it was like you've been there as well. Animation team has been there. Everybody's been working on this like super hard. It's a very challenging hero. We had to build new tech to support the soul system. How does it work? And then we also learned quite a bit from this system because we tried to do stuff where I'm going to use like 1 soul or 2 soul or 3 souls or like different thresholds, all these things. But because it's not a gauge that goes up, it's like I have to use this weapon or that weapon. It just muddied everything in hardcore, right? Because at some point, if you have to have 2, then we tried like things like different colors. Like sometimes it's white, and then it throws like different colors. It's red when it's full. Everything became so confusing, really difficult to play against as well. Because it's kind of like you have to start counting them, right? So we decided to go on a more binary matter. So it's white or red. It's all or nothing. It made it a lot easier for the development for this as well to kind of like fit really well. But it was complicated, making sure that we had everything working correctly. I know Francis, who's on the team, has been on the team for a long time, that players are familiar with by now, who worked on the bots for Sohei, made sure that the Sohei bot actually knows which weapons he has activated, and the Sohei bot is actually going to actively try to get to his other weapons to unlock and stuff. So there's a lot of challenges, a lot of things that we pushed towards in building this hero that was complicated. It was super challenging. I think we pulled it off. We have one of our most unique heroes we've had in a long time.
Hands down. Hands down.
That's great. I also want to give like big shout outs to Will, who was on a Warriors Den once, who is a newer member of our team, like for about a year now, who worked like tirelessly on this hero as well, like to start. So it's on the design team, it was like a big challenge for us. Audio also did like amazing stuff on there. Animations, as we'll see, I think these are like some of the smoothest animations we've had on a hero for a long time.
Like butter.
So
amazing.
It's amazing, right? So just close it out really quick on our end. Looking at this hero, we built him to be a bit of a meta disruptor, like we always kind of have, but in a different way, right? We haven't had players that are heroes that are really good at ganking in a while. This hero has like the strongest ganking move in the entire game. That's not a feat, right? We don't count Hito there, but it's still like the strongest move in the game, like the most damage of a baseline move that we can do. It's really different. It's really unique. Wanted to be able to have like that ganking aspect, but also that scary aspect, right? He's monstrous for a reason. We wanted you to be scared of him. We wanted players to be, that dude is around.
Yeah.
I don't want him to be around me. I don't want him to have his souls. I better do something about it.
Right.
So it kind of disrupts fights just by him being there and gaining souls off of people. So it's really, it's a really big different thing. So it's really different. It's unique. Again, I keep saying that, but it's really true. We're pushing for something that's really different here.
Yeah, nobody else has a resource system, so that's pretty unique.
Exactly,
true,
right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think and I think you're right, dude. Just from playing and experiencing that, just you hear him counting. It's terrifying. You see the red glows from across the map. Those souls just they're so angry.
When he gets all them, he screams at the end. It's like
Where is he? Where is he?
You hear him from far away, but when you hear that on the side, you don't see him like, uh-oh. So,
yeah, it's pretty incredible. So thank you so much,
awesome.
JC. Mike, any final kind of thoughts, words?
I really hope the players, enjoy, Sohei here. Get a couple of one-shots. Let us know how it feels to be that strong. But also, of course, a very big shout-out to the whole team who's worked for months on this. You've already mentioned Francis and Will, the designers working on this hero. So the animation team, the VFX team, tech, of course, like you mentioned.
Yep.
All the arts teams, everybody, audio, everything came together. Narrative, of course, to, inspire us.
With the lore.
There's so many people, the whole team. Fantastic work. Thank you all so much. And I just really hope the players enjoy this.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, cool. Well, thank you both very much. I know I'm super excited. Sohei is available tomorrow. You don't even have to wait long, folks, okay? Tomorrow. This is nice. We do the Warriors Den the day before, and then you get to just play him tomorrow. It's incredible.